All right, I'm glad we had a chance to meet Ryan Knoth, the winemaker and the owner of Localism Wines, and his beautiful, as you can see, backyard. And had to taste his wines, wines that we presented in within Via's wine portfolio in New Jersey and New York, and the wines are superb, and they were received absolutely fantastic by our customers. I would like Ryan to talk a little bit about these three beautiful varietal. We have a Sauvignon Blanc, a Kerner, and this Cabernet Sauvignon. So Ryan, just tell us a few words about the first wine.
All right, excellent. Thank you. It's
we should start tasting, right?
Cheers.
Cheers first.
Yeah,
cheers.
definitely.
God bless.
So we have three vintages here, 19, 20, and 21. So it's kind of nice to see three different vintages, get a perspective on those. But for Sauvignon Blanc, this is our 2020 vintage. We get this fruit out of Coombsville. And with all the wines, what the goal is to be respectful of fruit, respectful of terroir and place. And it's always important for me for the wines to have elegance, acidity, and purity. So I don't try to do a lot of new oak on everything. I'm trying to let the fruit speak for itself. So we do about 20-30% new oak on the Sauvignon Blanc.
Wow.
We do 0 on the Kerner, and I do 50 to 60 on Cab, which is pretty low for Napa standards.
The acidity is absolutely amazing.
So we're really going for acidity to shine through in all these wines. Barrel fermented, so mostly neutral, a little bit of oak, but we do batonnage and stirring. So you pick it really bright and fresh.
A little on the lees or no?
Lees for sure. Right. About 8 or 9 months on the lees.
Oh, I see.
Batonnage stirring develops the mid palate and the texture, so you start out with fresh, vibrant acidity, nice weight to it, and it should finish nice and clean.
It's absolutely amazing. A little pear in there.
Yep. More on the stone fruit characters,
stone
citrus.
Fruit,
I kind of stray away from too much tropical notes. I want it just to be really stone fruit citrus.
What is the age of the vines?
Age of the vines here, they're about 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can tell already. They show
nice
potential. Yes,
nice
absolutely.
Complexity.
It's a wine, a medium to medium. I would say Sauvignon Blanc. Really amazing. Very nice.
Thank you. Appreciate that. The next wine that we are going to look at here is an exciting one. It's a Kerner, which a lot of people may not know what Kerner is. Pretty famous in the Alto Adige area, right? So Kerner is actually from the Riesling family. So very aromatic, floral white wine. There's not a lot of people making Kerner. It's very unique. And like all our wines here, there's connections, collaborators that we've kind of known throughout our journey in winemaking in this industry. And this fruit is very unique in that we try to keep it pure. Only stainless steel, fermented very cold, about 50 degrees, takes sometimes a month and a half to finish. No secondary, no malolactic, so this should be really crisp, clean, pretty nice acidity, lots of floral undertones to it. As it ages, it gets a little bit of the petrol quality, but you don't tend to see that kind of on the younger side.
What can be the age of this wine?
Oh, this wine could go for 10 years. It gets very interesting. Oh yeah.
It'll be I guess a collector wine. If somebody,
I just think it becomes. I mean, if any, like all our wines, the wines are made with purity and acidity, and they'll age really gracefully. But if you want the fruit and the elegance, you drink it now when it's young. It's going to kind of age and get this other characteristics over time.
Develop more with the time.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
Yeah. So this is our new vintage, 21 Kerner. I'm excited for this one. This is just
what vintage? This is a second vintage, a third vintage?
No, sorry. 2017 was our first vintage.
It's great.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
I have success with this wines in the New York and New Jersey market, and when I saw you making Kerner, I said, "This is a winemaker that thinks out of the box."
Exactly.
And really, I love that.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to kind of be unique and be different and showcase wines that we like to drink as well. So really the start of this journey was my wife and I were always into food and wine, and we left our careers in the past to get into the wine industry. And so I want the wines to always be able to pair well with food and have some nice freshness. So this goes really well with seafood. We love sushi. It's really nice, pretty wine.
Really delicious.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, let's talk about your big wine, your Cab.
Yeah, so that flagship Cab. This is the 2019 vintage we have. 2010 was our first vintage. We're in Coombsville. This is Coombsville here. In 2010, Coombsville wasn't even an AVA.
Now is it 60th AVA of the Napa Valley?
Exactly.
Correct? How long was that? Recently?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah, 3 years ago.
So it's been a little while. But but it's off this property here. So we have about an acre.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, and so I use a lot of the farming connections I have, and we micro farm this vineyard, and it produces some really elegant concentrated cab. And Coombsville is being one of the most southern AVAs
Yes.
in Napa, so we get a lot more of the cool influence from the San Pablo Bay.
When I came from San Francisco, I crossed the Golden Gate Bridge, and I saw the fog. And as I was coming towards Napa, I saw the fog. So when you read technical notes from other wineries, the fog. So that's the fog that people are talking about.
That's the fog,
and
exactly.
There's an impact in the wine, correct?
It's a really big impact, and we see some warming trends going on, and we still see Coombsville being one of the cooler climates in Napa. We're just barely getting into veraison right now. We're up valley. We're seeing 40-50% veraison in Cabernet. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much later.
I saw the vineyard in the front. It is one of the cutest vineyards I ever saw.
Yeah.
How much land do you got there?
So that's about an acre, and it's planted really tight spacing.
Yeah.
So we have about 1,000 vines. So we get about any given vintage couple 2 to 3 4 tons out of this vineyard.
Okay, that was gonna ask you the yield.
Yeah.
3 tons. That's a lot of power in the wine.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. So it's very concentrated for sure. But I think what you get with that cooling effect and the cool climate is that really pretty floral notes. There's kind of like a purple flower.
And that's a Bordeaux blend, correct?
This is Cabernet Sauvignon with a
Sauvignon
little
with a
bit.
little bit
I
of-
always do a little bit of something. I don't, I like a little bit, depending on the vintage, a little Cabernet Franc or Petit Verdot. Kind of just helps kind of fill out the wine. We're always sitting about 92 to 94% Cab Sauv off this property.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
So-
Coffee. A little coffee in there.
Mm-hmm.
I just said that before. A little vanilla.
A little vanilla, kind of more darker fruit, so blue black
Correct.
fruits.
Blue black fruit, correct.
Yep. And
A
then
little white pepper, maybe?
yeah, definitely a little pepper on that. And again, like 60% new oak, so I kind of really want to balance that fruit.
It's balanced. no
If not
question
have
about
it be really oaky wine. This is a wine that's meant to be enjoyed when it's young,
Right.
and have some freshness to it.
It is, no question about it.
Yeah. So
Well, thank you for your hospitality, and hope to taste your Pinot Noir. I understand you're making a Pinot Noir.
yeah, the secret's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a Pinot Noir coming. We just bottled it last week. First vintage of Pinot Noir, Santa Cruz Mountains. It's going to be special.
When are you gonna taste it?
After bottle shock, maybe a few weeks.
Okay, good enough. All right.
All right.
I really thank you so very much for having me here.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it.